Hello and welcome to today's lesson. My name is Wes. This is Interactive English and the channel. It's all about trying to help you practice and improve your English skills and really just try to work toward English fluency. And if this is your first time here, please let me know. Tell me your name. You can write it in the chat. If you're watching this later, write it in the comments. I love hearing from new people here at the channel. And I want to just quickly tell you what we're going to work on today, because we're going to look at some articles in English. These are online articles. And the goal is trying to really build your vocabulary and look at some different articles and think about how we can build our vocabulary while we're reading. And what we're going to do today is talk about something that I think is a good topic, something that's positive, because I think when you look in the news, there's obviously a lot of negativity out there. There's so many things so many problems that typically come up. But this is going to be a little bit different because I want to talk about a philanthropist who has given away all of his money. And we're talking about billions of dollars. So, which is a good thing. I think any type of philanthropy is excellent, no matter whether you are very rich or maybe you don't have so much money and you want to donate, you want to volunteer or get involved. I think all of that is wonderful. So I have as we go through these articles, there's two of them that I want to look at. I have my vocabulary list that we're going to build and put together. And I think when you read about the same topic, I think that's something that's very useful. You're often going to get the same information, but you're going to see the same words being used again and again. And not only is that a good way to just build your vocabulary when you're learning new words, but when you learn a new word, it's useful to see that word again. And the more that you read and you see that word or phrase, you'll be able to put that up here in your active memory, and then you'll just be able to use it correctly the next time you're speaking or writing. I have the website, which we're going to look at in just a moment. This is the first article that we're going to be looking at. And again, it's all about just trying to help you build your vocabulary using reading, which I really recommend that everybody do. And we're going to try and build our vocabulary today. And I will include links to the articles down in the description. And I will also include the vocabulary words that we go through in today's lesson. I will put those down in the description as well, in case you would like to review. So I do want to give a quick little shout out. I saw so many members here today, and that's awesome. Lolly, Gertrudis, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining our community. Putri, Soria, thank you for being here. And then a lot of regulars too. Rose, Angela Sleepwalker, Amnadi, Madi, Eduardo, hello, what's up? Thank you. Great to have you guys here. I really appreciate everybody coming together. And I think this is great. This is what the community is all about. And everybody kind of just working toward that goal of improving their English skills. So let's go ahead and begin. And I told you what the topic is. We're talking about a philanthropist, somebody, and this is, I guess it happened recently that this person who was a billionaire, and their goal was they wanted to die broke. And now they say this person is officially broke. I don't think they are officially broke and have like zero money, but they're definitely no longer a billionaire. This person has given away billions and billions of dollars. And I want to just say that I think that there are many, people out there like this that give away a lot of their money. And I think that's awesome. But I know that this person's getting a lot of attention because they are a billionaire and they're giving away so much. But I think whether you are a billionaire or whether you're somebody who, again, you're just trying to make ends meet. And that's a phrase. If somebody's making ends meet, it means they're making enough to survive. But even still, those people will still donate. They give money to support charitable causes. And I think that is equally valuable and that should be also recognized. So if you guys are out there and you are giving and being charitable, that, kudos to you. I give you props. And I don't want to get into too many slang expressions. I did that in a previous lesson. To give someone props is to give someone credit and recognize their achievements and contributions. So let's go on down here, and I'm just going to read the first part, and then we'll look at some of the vocabulary. So just that little opening, it says, "It took decades, but Chuck Feeney, the former billionaire co-founder of retail giant Duty Free Shoppers, has finally given all his money away to charity. He has nothing left now, and he couldn't be happier." So this is the person. His name was Chuck Feeney. He was the billionaire and co-founder of this retail giant Duty Free Shoppers. So let's look at some of those words just so you really kind of understand, all right, where we're at. So if we're talking about somebody who is the co-founder, a founder is a person who creates an, I'll say, organization or business, but because they're a co-founder, they do it with another person, all right? So think about that word co. It means together with someone else. And you've probably seen this word before, like a co-worker, somebody else that you work with. So he was a co-founder. He created the business with another person. Now, duty free, what this means is if you're talking about duty, duty is another word for tax. That if somebody has to pay a duty, they have to pay a tax. So duty free just means tax free. So let's just keep it simple, tax free or paying no taxes. So he created this store. Let's go back because I want to talk a little bit about it. It was called Duty Free Shoppers. This is a store that you would find at an airport. So for some of you out there, I'm sure that you have traveled internationally, and you go to the airport, and when you go and you're waiting at the international gate, you're probably going to see a lot of duty-free shops. And that means that when you buy something there, you're not going to pay taxes. And the reason for that is because typically you pay taxes for products that you buy in a country. And because you are buying something, a product, could be a bottle of water or anything, and you are getting ready to leave the country, that's why you don't have to pay taxes and it's tax-free. Now, food for thought, because I looked this up. He was not the first person to start a duty-free business. The first business that was duty-free was actually started in Ireland, and I believe it was in 1946. In 1946 in Ireland, that is when the first duty-free shop opened. His business, these shops, actually began in 1960, 14 years later. And he started this business, which was called Duty Free Shoppers. And I think the business just grew. And you would find this business in many different places, many different airports around the country, around the world. And that is how he made his money. So let's go on and look at this next main part of the article right here. Again, I'm going to read it. Just follow along, and we'll go ahead. I'll highlight some words, and then we'll talk about the meaning. We'll add it to our vocabulary list. So it says, Charles Chuck Feeney, 89, who co-founded airport retailer Duty Free Shoppers with Robert Miller in 1960, amassed billions while living a life of monk-like frugality. As a philanthropist, he pioneered the idea of giving while living, spending most of your fortune on big, hands-on charity bets instead of funding a foundation upon death. Since you can't take it with you, why not give it all away? Have control over where it goes and see the results with your own eyes. We learned a lot. We would do some things differently, but I'm very satisfied. I feel very good about completing this on my watch, Feeney tells Forbes. My thanks to all who joined us on this journey, and to those wondering about giving while living, try it. You'll like it. So this is what he said. I want to highlight a few words in there, and then we'll come back. And the reason that I'm choosing these words, I think maybe they're a little more, maybe perhaps advanced, but these are words that will help you understand other articles if you want to read about this same topic. So we're going to look at a few. We've already talked about what it means to co-found something. He created it with another person. We're going to look at the words amassed. He amassed billions because of his monk-like frugality. We're going to talk about frugality as well. And we're talking about he was a philanthropist. So let's go back over to our vocabulary list and look at some of those words, and I'll write down the meaning. So here we are. Okay. Sorry, I try to move this as seamlessly as possible, but sometimes it's difficult because there's so many different windows open. So if we're talking about to amass, it's a verb. So in the article, it said he amassed billions, and that means when you amass to get a large amount of something. Often I think you will see this verb when talking about money. Somebody they might amass a fortune in this case, or he amassed billions. He was able to get a large amount of something. Frugality. This is a noun, and what it means, it's talking about the quality of being careful with money. So it said one of the reasons why he became so wealthy was because of his frugality. It's a noun that's describing somebody who is just very careful with their money. Most of the time, I think you will hear this word used as an adjective, and I'm going to write it down, and that is frugal. I think this is you can use these words as nouns or adjectives. It's another great way to build your vocabulary. So frugality is the noun, but I think most of the time people will use it as an adjective and say that someone is frugal. And if you say someone is frugal, it means that they are very careful with how they spend money. Another way you could say it's a way of a polite way of calling someone cheap, that they don't want to spend money, so they try to be frugal, or maybe they have a frugal lifestyle. To be quite honest, I try to be frugal. I don't try not to spend a lot of money on things that maybe I don't need. The next one, it was a philanthropist. So I told you at the very beginning that we're going to talk about this person. He is a philanthropist. And what this means, you're talking about a person who helps the poor. It's describing a person who helps the poor, especially by giving money. So when I think of a philanthropist, it's somebody who's helping, but more likely they're helping because they're donating money. And there are different ways that people can help. They can donate money, they can volunteer and actually work for the charity or the organization. But when I think about somebody who is referred to as a philanthropist, I think about somebody who that's specifically what they're doing. They're donating money. All right. So I apologize. I'm not able to really glance too much at the chat right now, but I'll try to glance at it one time to time. I know I saw somebody said the vid is unclear. The streaming, it's been challenging lately. Hopefully we can power through it. But yes, there may be moments when the screen may get a little blurry. I'm still working on it, trying to work out all the kinks. That's a good expression. The kinks are just the problems. So let's go back to our article, and I want to look at a couple more words. So we talked about philanthropists. It said he pioneered this idea of giving while living. And I want to look at what that means to pioneer something. And then it said he pioneered this idea, giving while living, spending most of your fortune on big hands-on charity bets instead of funding a foundation upon his death. So if you pioneer something, let's go back over to our vocabulary list. I'm going to skip around a little bit. I apologize. So to pioneer something refers to, you're talking about the first to do something, all right? So this is something that at the time, while he was doing this, it really wasn't happening that much. And I think this idea of giving while living is that instead of just getting all the money and then when you die, donate it and give it away, he wanted to do this while he was alive so that he could control where the money goes. And that's the idea, I think, of giving while living. I want to talk about that other word, even though I have it down there in the next one, a fortune, all right? And if we're talking about a fortune, it just really refers to a large amount of money, all right? He made a fortune with his business. So let's go back over to, our article. So hopefully, again, this article, it's easy to follow, it's easy to understand as we look at these vocabulary words. And then I want you to pay attention when we read the next article, how many of them that you see again. So let's just look at this last article right here, all right? So he started this thing, giving while living, that when you're alive, you're going to just keep giving your money away. So over the last 4 decades, Feeney has donated more than $8 billion to charities, universities, and foundations worldwide through his foundation, the Atlantic Philanthropies. When I first met him in 2012, he estimated he had set aside about $2 million for his and his wife's retirement. That's still a lot of money. In other words, he's given away 375,000% more money than his current net worth. And he gave it away anonymously. While many wealthy philanthropists enlist an army of publicists to trumpet their donations, Feeney went to great lengths to keep his gifts secret. Because of his clandestine globetrotting philanthropy campaign, Forbes called him the James Bond of philanthropy. So let's look at this this paragraph. I want to pick out a few words that maybe might be a little more challenging. So you see that he amassed a fortune of $8 billion. He was giving it away while he was still alive. He did set aside $2 million for his retirement, which is the time when you stop working and you are able to live and try to take care of yourself. So he gave away the money anonymously. I want to look at that word because I think it helps you understand what kind of person he is. So that word, if we go back to our vocabulary list, anonymously, if you do something anonymously, it basically means that one's identity is not known. So someone's identity is not known, and because of that, they say it was like a clandestine operation, which if something is done like that, it's done in secret. And often I think of something like you're describing some mission, perhaps you might hear it in a movie, if it's an action movie, and they talk about some clandestine operation. But anonymously is the word that I want to focus on because I think it really kind of helps describe who he is, because they said that many people who are wealthy, what they may do is that they try to promote the fact that they're giving so much money away. So he didn't want to do that. He was not trying to look for people who would say, hey, good job, well done, you're doing a great thing. So he was doing this anonymously, all right? So those are the first words that I wanted to look at with this article. And I hope that some of this made sense. I want to look at some of your comments about what you're saying. Yasmin asks, to invest is to amass. I think when people invest money, they hope to amass more money. They hope to get a larger amount of money. So I'd say that investing is a way, to amass more money. But not always, because if you invest money, you could get more money. You could also lose it. Um, let's see. Well, yes, I can't be a philanthropist because I have no money. I understand. Yes, I think all of us would love to be philanthropist. But yes, typically, I think when you hear that word, a philanthropist, it refers to a person who already has a lot of money and they're trying to give it away. Let's see. Superstar, so please give me your contact number. Well, you people can email me. My email is pretty much known. If you guys join our email list, then you basically have our email. You could find that down in the description below if you want to join our email list. Email is the best way to contact me. I'm not really giving out my phone number. Let's see. All right, so now that we have some of these vocabulary words that we started right here, and again, I will put this list down in the description if you want to review. Let's look at another article that is similar, all right? And the reason why I want to do this is because I think you now understand the topic, but it's really to see that how many times you see these words again and again. Because I think if you want to build your vocabulary, reading is a great way to do that. And what I would encourage you to do is that if you are reading about some topic and you learn some new words, continue reading about that topic, because you're going to see that the words are used again and again and again. And the more exposure you get to the word, the more likely you are to remember the meaning and understand that. So that's why I want to look at another article talking about this same topic. Billionaire Charles Feeney finishes 4-decade-long dream of giving away an $8 billion fortune. So already you see that word fortune that we've added to our list, and it just means somebody who has a lot of money. So let's just look at the first part, and then we'll pick out a few more words. And we'll go through it. And sorry, I know some of you may hear Emmy in the background. She's not too happy right now. She just woke up from a nap. So I'll read through it, and then we'll look at some words. So it says, for years, billionaire Charles Feeney had one goal in mind: to give away his massive fortune and live the rest of his life broke. Now the 89-year-old has fulfilled his wish. According to Forbes, Steve Bertoni, Feeney has finished giving away more than $8 billion in anonymous donations through his foundation, Atlantic Philanthropies. Over the course of 4 decades, Forbes says Feeney gave $3.7 billion to education and more than $870 million to human rights and social change campaigns. Feeney, who amassed his fortune after funding the famed airport retailer Duty Free Shoppers, also gave around $62 million in grants to end the death penalty in the United States and $76 million to support the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, the outlet reported. Feeney also gave back to his alma mater to build a technology alma mater, Cornell University, and recently gifted them a $350 million contribution to build a technology campus in New York City, according to Forbes. With nearly all of his fortune gone, Feeney officially closed down Atlantic Philanthropies this week. That's why I think they said it's over. He's closed down his charity, his organization, because there's no more money left. He's given it all away. We learned a lot. We would do some things differently, but I'm very satisfied. I feel very good about completing this on my watch, Feeney told Forbes. Many thanks to all who joined us on this journey, he added, and to those wondering about giving while living, try it, you'll like it. So if we were just going to go back and look at this article, after we've already started building our vocabulary list, you can kind of see some of the same words. We've talked about that he was giving away a fortune, all right? He got a lot of money. He did these anonymous donations, all right? We talked about that word already. It's very similar, and again, this is a way to build your vocabulary because the other article said that he did it anonymously. If you do something anonymously, that is the adverb because it ends with an ly. One's identity is not known. In this case, they're using it as an adjective, an anonymous donation. The meaning is still the same. So what are some other words that we talked about? in this article. So again, they discuss his business about duty-free shoppers. Duty is talking about tax. And here is one word that I want to talk about: grants. Because sometimes if people, somebody who is a philanthropist, they have a charity, an organization that will give grants. So he gave grants to different things, and also he supported his alma mater. So let's look at those two words. We're going to add that to our vocabulary list. Let's go back over here. We talked about the word fortune already. I wrote it before in the other one. So if we're talking about a grant, what this refers to is, let's see, it's money given to a person or organization for a specific purpose, all right? I think often you may hear this word when people talking about like doing research. You have somebody who's a scientist, or somebody finishes their PhD and they're doing their PhD and they're doing research. They may try to get a grant, and they're trying to get support for their research, and they're trying to get money so that they can continue doing their research. That would be the specific purpose. So that is a time when you would often hear this word being used when talking about somebody looking for a grant to continue research. Now, he donated money to his alma mater. If we're talking about an alma mater, it's basically talking about the school, college, or university where a person studied, all right? And that is wherever you went to university or college, you would say that is your alma mater. And the last one was that phrase. I don't know if you remember that phrase from the article. I did not highlight it, so let's go back over here. And he talks about he was able to, I feel very good about completing this on my watch, about giving all of this money away. He was able to do it on my watch. And if you want to use that phrase, if you say you're going to do something on my watch or on your watch, what that means, let's go back over here. It means that you are doing something while someone is on duty, like they're working, in that case, because again, duty has different meanings, while someone is on duty or in charge of some situation, all right? And often you might hear this expression if you're in charge of some situation and you say, look, somebody's worried about something, and you say, it's not going to happen on my watch. It's not going to happen while I'm in charge of the situation. So in this case, he said, I'm happy I was able to do this on my watch. And in that case, I think he meant like, I'm happy that I was able to do this while I'm still alive, that he can see where all these donations go, he can see where the money goes, and he's doing this on his watch. So that's a good phrase to learn. You may hear this being used in a variety of different contexts if something happens on your watch. It's talking about while you are in charge of a situation. So I didn't highlight too many vocabulary words because I wanted to try to keep it simple so that it's a little easier to follow along. I want to look at some questions. Mal, Lolly said, I can't invest money. Okay, yes, I hear you. I hear you, Lolly. So let's see. Maggie said, welcome, Maggie. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Can I say I needed to work a different job to amass my income? I would say in this case, I really think when you talk about amass, you're really talking about a lot of money. And that's why I think you would hear amass being used with words like a fortune. Because a fortune is already talking about a lot of money, so somebody might amass a fortune. In this case, if you're talking about, well, I'm switching jobs, you would probably just say because I wanted to make more money, or because I'm getting paid more money, or I'm making a higher salary. So in that case, I don't think you would use amass. unless the job is just paying you a ridiculous amount of money and you can amass a fortune. So I think when you're going to use that verb, you're going to hear it used with words like fortune, or in this case, they talked about he amassed over $1 billion with his company. Excellent, good question. So I hope that some of these words were new for you, and I hope that it was kind of easy to follow along. Now, what I would say, let's see, all right. What I do want to say is that because we do these lessons from time to time where we talk about some current events and we talk about a topic, we build vocabulary, and something that my wife and I wanted to do with our channel was to then highlight a charity, an organization. We're going to make a donation, and then I'll put I'll talk about it and then put a link down in the description if somebody else would like to go learn more about the organization or make a donation as well. And we've done this before. I think we did it when talking about COVID-19. We talked about the housing crisis, and we also did it talking about Black Lives Matter and George Floyd. And we talk about these issues to help you build your vocabulary, to understand it, because these are important things, these are important issues, and also try to highlight an organization that we think is doing some good. Now, because this topic is really just kind of general, it's talking about philanthropy, what I did is I went to our community page and I posted a poll, and I gave a few different options of saying, okay, well, which charity, which organization should we highlight? Now, I chose very broad organizations, which I think are very, they're well known, and many of you may be familiar with them. Typically, in the future, we're going to highlight a lot more smaller organizations, but we'll probably leave that to a specific topic. So I asked you guys your opinion, and the poll came back right there between the International Red Cross, UNICEF, the World Food Program, Amnesty International. Most of you chose the World Food Program, which is an organization that is run by the United Nations to help people, help communities that are in need of food. And they will do this when there are natural disasters. They will do this when areas have been hit by, well, things like famine, or perhaps if there's a war going on, the World Food Program will get in there. So we are going to make a donation to the World Food Program. I've left links down in the description if you'd like to go there and learn more about it. I think, again, I think any organization that is working to solve a problem in the world right now, whether it's environmental, hunger, poverty, it's good. All right, this is what we need more of. And today I wanted to talk about philanthropy as the topic because it is a little more positive instead of looking at so many things that are, well, problems that we have in the world right now. But again, in the future, we will do this. We will highlight another charity when we talk about some issue or problem. So yeah, keep an eye out for those lessons. So I hope that you enjoyed the lesson. I hope you found it useful. And I particularly hope that you learned some new vocabulary words. And again, if you want to review, you can review them down in the description. I see some people like there's an echo. I apologize. Gosh, I got a lot of kinks to work out with the internet right now. I'm going to get on that before the next one. Let me see. All right. I'll have to look at that and see what's going on. Sorry about the audio. If it's not functioning too well, I apologize. But I thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you, Lolly. Thank you, Maggie, for joining us. Anna, LaDon, Jason, just trying to get some shout-outs. Rose, Morgiana, Chariches, Conscious, Bachu, Fernando. Thank you guys. Hope you have a wonderful week. I will see you next time. So long.